Bob, we
Thank you
have
very much.
Bob, we have an interesting development. We were watching the news today, and in Fredericksburg, and you address social issues as well. So I'd love to hear your comments on this. In Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I've done a lot of stomping in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm from the East Coast. There's an 11-year-old aspiring veterinarian, Skylar Capo, and she sprang into action the second she learned that a baby woodpecker in her dad's backyard was about to be eaten by the family cat. Skylar couldn't find the woodpecker's mother, so she brought it to her own mother, Allison Capo, who agreed to take it home. But on the drive home, the Capo family stopped at Lowe's in Fredericksburg, and they brought the bird inside because of the heat. And it's just as hot there as it is where we are. Today it's 102.
No, it's 106 right before I came to the studio.
Man.
It's hot.
So that's when they were confronted by a fellow shopper who said she worked for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. She was this lady that worked for the Wildlife Service was nervous. She was shaking, and she pulled out a badge. The problem was that the woodpecker is a protected species under the Federal Migratory Bird Act. Therefore, it's illegal to take or transport a baby woodpecker. Now, of course, the Capo family, had no idea. So as soon as the Capo family returned home, they opened the cage, the bird flew away, everything was fine, and they reported it to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, said that that's great. That's exactly what we want to see. And the Capo family had done everything that they could. 2 weeks later, that same woman from Lowe's, the Fish and Wildlife Services person, showed up at the Capo's front door. This time, the woman was accompanied by a state trooper. Capo refused to accept the citation, but was later mailed a notice to appear in U.S. District Court for unlawfully taking a migratory bird. She's been slapped with a $535 fine. If convicted, she could face, this is the mother, could face up to a year behind bars. Now, the Virginia State Police issued the following statement. We've confirmed that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife agent requested our presence when they served this federal summons. That's a federal summons. So the trooper stood on the porch and said nothing, and they had nothing to do with it. So here's what we did. Bob, we learned about this, and I picked up the phone and I called the Fredericksburg, Virginia office of the Fish and Wildlife Service. And, of course, I got the normal messages from the person answering the phone. They're away from their desk. They're in a meeting. And I explained that we were going on the air with this story, and we wanted to hear both sides. And I was directed to call the Richmond office, which was, up one level. And, of course, I got the same messages, away from my desk, in a meeting. And I explained again, we're going on with the story, and we want to hear both sides. Then I called the regional office. Now, these guys are way out of state. And I spoke with the receptionist, and I said, look, we're going on the air with this story, and I'd like to talk to the director. And I said, here's the problem. This 11-year-old girl had a choice. She could let her family cat eat the bird and be an accomplice in the bird's demise, or she could rescue the bird and violate the law. What a choice. So I said, you guys have got this all backwards. Skylar should be presented with a plaque for rescuing an endangered species. And within an hour, I got the call back from the man who is in charge of public relations, and he read me the statement that says that they have
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Yeah, they have made a mistake, and the mistake was that they had a clerical error and they backed off. So this thing has just been dropped. Very interesting. What are your thoughts on that happening, Bob?
I think it's bureaucracy gone mad.
That's what we thought, and we thought it was so outrageous that we applied all the pressure that we could. And literally, I said, I'm Vin Finelli with KWTO, the number 2 station with coverage in the United States, and we're going on with this story. So let's hear what you guys have to say. And that pressure from the media seemed to work. So they backed off, and now everything seems to be fine, except this 11-year-old is now famous.
Yeah, Bob, that's I was telling Vinny this morning I was so impressed with what he did, his investigation, and that's the way the media used to be in this country, Bob. You remember this, when the media was a watchdog on the government instead of looking the other way or being an accomplice to what the government tries to do. It used to be a watchdog, and that's the role the media should play.